feel like I should only do one side of my face. Let's do that. Let's just do one side so you guys can really see the difference. Just add some products and give yourself a little bit of a lift. All right, midlife beauty besties, if you are struggling with volume loss in your face and you're teetering on, do I get filler or do I just work it with makeup? Then this video is for you, because today we're gonna work with our volume loss with some tips and tricks in the makeup field, so that with just a few products, you can give yourself a little bit of a lift. Because as we've gotten older, yes, volume loss is a thing. It's a real thing, but it doesn't have to be. I can show you how to fix it, and that's what I'm gonna do today. And the best part, all drugstore products. If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Jody. Think of me as your midlife beauty bestie, and today we're gonna just take a hard look in the mirror. I mean, it's just us girls, right? Just look in the mirror and go, okay, where do I have volume loss? You know, I can't get my 20-year-old face back, can't get my 30-year-old face back, but I'd like to preserve the 50s the best I can, the 60s the best you can, the 70s the best you can. I know many of you watch that are in your 60s and 70s, and I love that you're here. All right, so what you're going to want to do is you're gonna want some sort of a bronzer. Now, the difference between a bronzer and a contour stick. Your bronzer is going to be more of a warm tone, leans a little bit to the orange side, but not Ronald McDonald orange. Now, you may also want a contour stick. The difference between bronzer and contour is you'll notice the bronze is more of a warm undertone and the contour is more cool, leans a little bit brownish gray. You're also gonna wanna grab your concealer, and for us more mature women, you want your concealer to only be a shade lighter than your foundation. You don't wanna go too light with your concealer. All these products will be listed down below. This is the new Essence Silky Blur Concealer. And then you're also going to want to get your foundation. I'm using the Maybelline Plump and Glow, and this is in shade 118. I just want to share with you how that is like one shade darker than my concealer. So that is the color range and color swatch of products that you want in front of you as we go through this. We'll call it a tutorial on correcting the volume loss. Now, where I place some of these products is going to be different than where you place them, because my volume loss can be different than yours. Now, here's the best way to tackle this process. Get an old photo of yourself that you really like and tape it to the mirror right in front of you, so that you're constantly comparing what does that photo have versus what I'm seeing in the mirror. You'll be able to quickly identify where you have lost some volume. Now, one area that many of us have lost it together, I mean, I lose it on a regular basis, where I've lost volume is in this temple area for sure. So let's start there, because most of us do lose volume through here as we get older. The collagen just doesn't rebuild itself as quickly as it used to. You can blame hormones, you can blame genetics, you can blame some of the sugar that we eat. It's a lot. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as medical advice. I'm just saying that's what I've read on where this comes from. Where you see that things have sunken in, we need to add light there. So because we are hollow through here, we're going to go in with our concealer. Now, you may notice that I do not have my foundation on first, and that is correct, because we want to take a sheer to medium foundation over our artwork, our correctiveness, our filler, if you will. We need to do that first. So taking that lighter concealer right where you have some volume loss and tap it in. It doesn't have to be perfect, just right where you see you have some sunkenness. I feel like I should only do one side of my face. Let's do that. Let's just do one side so you guys can really see the difference. So let's go back into this side. I wiped that side off enough. Now, the next place that I've lost volume, and check and see if you've lost volume here also, is in this tear trough. One of the best ways to identify this is if you tilt your head a little bit and then look in the mirror. It's not your best look, but it is one that helps identify exactly where you have a little bit of volume loss. Now, once you do that, you want to be real precise where you add the lightener, the brightener, the light, because remember, light pulls things forward, dark colors pulls things back. When you have a small soft tip applicator like this, you can go very precise where you have lost some of that volume and then lightly blend that in. Now, where you want to be careful here is if you have puffiness under your eyes, you don't want to be adding that brightener to the most round part of that puff, because again, anything that you add brightener to is going to make it look bigger, larger, more forward. So if you have puffy eyes, avoid this step on the puff. but do put it on the shadow of the puff because that will help make the shadow look less forward. The step under the eye is not for the purpose of concealing anything. That will come later. This is for the step of bringing things forward and helping them look less hollow. The next place I've lost volume, and check and see if you have as well, is right here around the nose. I know it's a weird thing, but just a little tap of brightness right through here makes it look less sunk in the center of your face. Now, if you have any other places that you feel are hollow, then this is a good time to go fill those in. The next place where I've lost volume, and you may have as well, is in the hollows of your cheek. Now, everyone's cheekbone and cheek area looks different, but when you look straight on in the mirror, you might notice a little shadow. That's where you've lost volume. Now, you may like that and say, okay, that really helps my cheekbone be more pronounced, or you may notice that it just feels a little too hollow there. For me, it looks too hollow, so I don't add concealer or contour. I just add a little bit of brightener right where I see some shadow. So you'll see it over here, and I'm just gonna add the brightener right through here. In our 20s and 30s, contour is really a good friend of ours because it helps sculpt our face. But as we get older, we have less of an opportunity to sculpt because we've lost collagen. So we're really sculpting on a surface that is less sculpted underneath. So it doesn't hold up as well. It doesn't wear very well. It's great for photo opportunities, but that's about it. Now, the last place you might notice that you've gotten some hollowness is right around your lip. If that's the case, you can take a little bit of this right across the top, blend it, and then that will become an area where we can add a little larger lip when we get to that step. But by neutralizing your natural lip line, if it's turned under, for example, or just seems to be disappearing, then neutralizing it allows you to create the lip that you want. Now for the areas that we want to pull back to give us a little bit more of a forward look would be right under our lower lip. So right through here, I'm just picking up that contour stick. And I'm just gonna contour my lower lip area. And the reason for this is if you have lost volume in your lower lip, adding a little contour here, not bronzer, bronzer is the warmer shade. You wanna add a little bit of contour because contour is more of a shadow shade. By adding a little shadow under our lower lip, it gives the illusion that your lip is so large, it's creating its own shadow. Very similar to where you have that puffiness underneath your eye. Because that puff comes out, it creates a shadow. That's the area we want to add some concealer and get rid of. But down here, oh, we love a shadow. And again, you guys, because we're gonna cover this all with a foundation, you don't have to be exactly perfect, but you do wanna be pretty close. Otherwise, it'll be a muddy mess. I have one more place on myself that I forget. My cheekbones right here are creating almost a shelf in this eye socket. So there's definitely a little bit of hollowness there. So I wanna add some brightness right on, I call it a shelf. And if you have one, you know exactly what I mean. It's just the place where your bone structure of your eye and your cheekbone is there, and then there's nothing underneath it, so the skin kind of falls down into that. 10 years from now, I'll wish I had the shelf because it'll be more like a bowl where it just sunk in all the way. All right, so those are the places that I see hollowness on my face. Are you doing this with me? Let me know how many of these are also hollowness areas on you. And if you found more, that is totally normal, you guys, because everyone's face structure is different. All right, so picking up our foundation, let me go over here where I had my foundation spot. This is a medium coverage. I'm gonna shear it out a little bit. I like to put most of my products on the back of my hand, really work it in to that brush so that when I go to apply it on my face, I'm not adding a lot of product. I can always go in and add more, but I don't want to get too much. So I'm going to go right over the outer edges of my face because I like to apply the brush and the product on the outer edge because that's where I carry the least amount of wrinkles, and then I will move that product forward where I have more wrinkles, more higher movement areas. Everyone has a different rule of thumb when it comes to where they put their foundation. I know many makeup artists prefer to start in the center of the face and move it out. That doesn't work on my more mature skin, I've noticed, because this is where I'm the most wrinkly, is right down the center of my face. And if I put the most product there, that is just a recipe for disaster. So I like to have more product, which still isn't a lot of product, but the most product on the outer perimeter where I carry less wrinkles, and then have less product, but still good coverage in the center of my face where I carry the most laugh lines, love lines, you know. There's a few lines from getting your heart broken back in high school and college. Maybe a recent divorce or breakup has left you with a few more lines. But you know what, you guys? That's okay, because they are beautiful and they tell your story, and your story is your own story, and no one has a story like it, and no one breaking up with you or divorcing you is going to break you. You may bend, but you're not gonna break. All right, so now that we've added a veil of foundation, you really can start to see the picture come together. Look at this side where we've added a little bit of that concealer in the shadowed areas of my face versus this side where we've just added the foundation. And I did not conceal the hollows of my face or the areas where I have lost volume. Now that we've plumped up our canvas, I'm gonna go in and just add a little bit of product right up through here because I have lost hair loss, not necessarily volume loss. Well, volume of hair, that I guess would be a true statement. So I'm just gonna pick up a fluffy brush and just lightly go in with my contour. Remember, the contour is the brownish gray one that's more neutral to cool tone. Now, if you don't have a contour stick, look for an eyeshadow that is similar to your root color and just add that to where you've lost a little bit of hair volume. All we're really trying to do is if the wind blows, you don't necessarily see skin underneath. That way it doesn't look like you've lost as much hair. It's really what we're trying to do. We're not trying to sculpt the face up here. We are just trying to make it look like we haven't lost quite as much hair as I know I have, especially in this area. Now I like to take what's left on that and just go right over my eyelid for a natural bronze look. Even if you've got hooded eyes, this is a really good trick because you're creating that fake crease, if you will, to give your eyes a more wide open look. All right, now let's go in with a little bit of blush. This is the only thing that's not drugstore, and why isn't, I've got a drugstore one. Let's just stick with our drugstore theme. We're gonna go in with the Morphe Hot Shot. This is really pigmented, so you need the smallest amount, like small, like that amount, tiny. This I'll just go on the back of my hand. Look how much that spreads out to be. It's probably the wrong shade for the color of shirt that I have on today, but that's okay. I like to put my blush no closer to my nose than the center of my eye, high point of the cheekbone, and just pull it back a little bit. Now you'll notice I'm just taking that a little bit of an upward motion, not too much, because if you go too upward, what goes up must come down. So if you put your blush like this, thinking that you are sweeping your face up and giving it a lifted look, you're also doing the opposite because you've come so far down this way that the face looks pulled down. So you want to opt for a little bit more like this of an angle versus this. So more of an angle is not always better. I'm going to put the same on this side because we want to show the difference. The blush isn't really the key star here or the main character. It's just an added bonus. I need to blend that a little bit more. Now from here, if you find that you need to actually conceal under your eyes, you can add it. I'm gonna add a little bit more just in that upward motion because I wanna pull this part of my face where I carry darkness, again, because of that hollowness. You may or may not need to do this step. I like to just pull it up and it goes right into that temple area where we undersculpted that concealer the first time. Now, if you've got highlighter, you can add just a little bit of highlighter on the high points of your cheek to, again, give it more of a forward look. I'm not gonna do that because mine are pretty pronounced and I carry, I wouldn't say texture, but I do carry larger pores right through here and I don't really like those to be accentuated. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Lifter Liner by Maybelline and I'm going to create the lip on this side that I have and then blend that line a little bit inward. And on this other side where we added that little bit of concealer so that we were able to create our own line and then that shadow, I'm gonna go a little bit more exaggerated. And don't do what I just did. Don't go all the way to the corner. You wanna leave those corners unlined. It just opens up the mouth. Same thing, blend that inward. Then I'm going to take some Lifter Gloss, also from Maybelline. I'll link again all these down below. I think it's Gummy Bear, but I'm not sure. And then a little bit of gloss. Now we haven't done our eyes, and I'm not going to because I don't want to have that distract from the overall look, but can you see the difference between the side where we undersculpted using a brightener, aka a concealer that is one shade lighter than your foundation, but you don't want to have a foundation that is full coverage here, because if it's too full coverage, you'll cover up all of that work that we did underneath and it won't shine through. So you want a sheer to medium coverage foundation so that that undersculpting, that brightening that we did in those hollows will come forward. But you can see a big difference between the side where I didn't add any brightness in key strategic precision areas to the side that I did. So that's really it, you guys. You just have to take a hard, long look in the mirror with maybe a photo that shows where you had some volume, that maybe you've lost it, and then brighten in those areas. And again, go over it with your sheer to medium foundation. That is a big key. And then work from there. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I love doing these videos for you because I feel like they solve a problem that we all share in common. You're not alone if you're noticing that there's hollowness in your face that you didn't have before. But don't worry about it. You can also look into fillers. That is an option. I have no judgment. Just know that it is an option. They can fill your temples, they can fill right through here. I don't know if you can get, I think you can get filler under your eyes. I've never looked into that because this eye is always puffy where this eye is sunk in, and I don't like this puffy eye, so I'm always afraid that if I did filler here, would it look like this puffy side? So this has never been an option for me. But if you want to take it to a little bit more semi-permanent, meaning temporary for a year or so, that is always an option. Just add some products and give yourself a little bit of a lift. All right, you guys, that is it for me. With summer coming, if you like a tinted moisturizer instead of a foundation or a skin tint, then be sure to check out this video. I'll link it right here for you because it is all about my 4 favorite skin tints for summer, and I've got some drugstore options, so I've got every price point covered. I will see you guys over there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.